Hello and welcome to the Slingshot channel. Yesterday I uploaded a video in which I showed, amongst other things, the incredible penetration power of the new high penetration airgun darts. These projectiles, specifically developed for weapons under 7.5 joule, what 5.5 foot-pounds, use the basic idea of armor-piercing ammunition to turn the normally rather harmless compressed air weapons and CO2 weapons that are freely available for sale in Germany into true penetration monsters, completely legal here in Germany. These thin, pointed projectiles, which can be fired from compressed air weapons in 9mm caliber, are based on blowgun darts, yes, but they are now made of hardened steel and they also have the right diameter. So in the test, these bullets or projectiles easily penetrated a dummy consisting of 3 layers of cotton cloth, a chamois leather sheet, 4 centimeters of raw beef, and a cow thigh bone. Really thick, wow. Now my idea is to bring an inexpensive CO2 market revolver into the market that could put 8 to 10 of these arrows on target within a few seconds, thanks to double action. However, many spectators have doubts about the man-stopping effect of these little arrows here, because they're so thin. Many believe that an attacker would hardly feel such an arrow, although the bullet would either hit a bone or penetrate very deeply into soft tissue, like in a belly shot, for example. It will probably go all the way through. If you assume an 8 or 10 shot revolver, then both variants would be very likely. Due to the lack of recoil, extremely fast shot sequences can be achieved. So I asked my viewers, you guys, in the videos, who has ever had an injection where the tip scraped the bone and what did it feel like? The result was absolutely clear. The testimonials read like the script for a horror movie. It's just pains just reading it. I have compiled all the relevant answers for you so that you don't have to zap through all the other comments. Access to the PDF, it's like 13 pages, is in the text. 70% of the reports say that such an injection with bone contact was extremely painful. A further 19% report painful experiences, and only 10% of the posters felt no pain at all, whereby these 10% are obviously the tough ones amongst us. Matthias Herzer 6016, for example, had a 2mm nail driven through his entire foot, and he says he didn't notice anything. Ouch, tough guy. But the other reports are very drastic. Bututsuki says they had to hold me down with 4 nurses and I screamed the whole hospital together. Really the greatest pain there is when a needle is stuck in the bone. AW1906 says, the pain makes a grown man shed tears, I assure you. Dirk Schafi 503 reports, despite maximum local anesthesia, I had hellish pain and they had to hold me down with 4 men. 4 men for a second time. Seems like you need 4 men for that job. Basteltier describes, you can imagine it as if you were being tasered and stabbed at the same time. Rudimentar says, it was so painful that I felt like I was going to jump from the bed to the ceiling and have to claw at the ceiling with my fingernails. It was the worst pain of my life. Several other followers, by the way, have also reported that this was the worst pain in life. So seems like it's very typical. Micrographia explains, I was standing almost vertically on the operating table in pain, as if lightning had struck. King K 3245 reports, but when he broke through that layer of cartilage with a huge needle, I almost fainted and he had to tell me to breathe because I was frozen when that happened. Wormweed finds the following words. I have had many injuries and several operations in my life, but it has never been so painful. Pointy-ish was also not amused. It was extremely painful and made me jump out of my seat in shock. Mac Knots UK And I can tell you that I almost jumped off the wagon from the pain. The pain is not like a puncture in the skin, but it feels really deep, as if you've been hit with a hammer. Well, hammer blow sounds painful. But the funniest description comes from Andreas Roth, 5289. Agony, never again, 5 exclamation marks. I'd rather have my prostate palpated by Captain Hook. Oh yes, a rectal round trip with the hooked hand. Now that sounds tempting, doesn't it? Ouch. And now you have to consider, these people have been pricked by just one needle, and that, compared to the shot from the CO2 gun, slowly and delicately. How much worse might it feel when the needle not only gently touches the bone, but strikes like the wrath of Khan, followed by several more of these stingers from hell. I cannot imagine that there is much desire left to continue an attack. But there were also real experts commenting, whose expertise is of course very important, simply because they're just professionals. LZWR 8474, for example. I work as a surgeon in an emergency room, and I think that these needle projectiles can very well incapacitate an attacker. If they are lodged in muscle and the attacker continues to move, the needle will bend, and this will be immediately noticeable through severe pain. Perforation of organs or hits to the bony structures could also be very painful. With that power, even penetration through the skull into the brain is possible. That doesn't always have to be fatal, but it certainly has the potential to be. Wow, what a statement. Trauma specialist and dental surgeon Doch Homster 1242 has a similar view. Your arrows would cause extreme pain after the fact if they were now anchored in the bone while the person moved the muscle around the fixed arrow, potentially causing more damage to all tissues involved. Yeah, that's a good explanation. Sticks in the bone, you move, it hurts like hell. The depth of bone penetration your arrows have in the chest cavity would be enough to pierce the heart muscle, skull and brain, which would potentially be fatal. Yeah, I agree, movements with a needle in the body causes pain. So we can now not only imagine that this is the case, but we have it confirmed by two experts. So, let's be clear. The extremely painful effect of such arrows will certainly make a big impression on most attackers, and at least, very probably, mean the end of the attack. Yeah, I know. Then there is the argument of the leprous attacker who is bombarded with angel dust, has bloody coke snot oozing from his nose, and can't be stopped by anything. So, and here I agree, totally agree, these madmen. The only thing that helps is a direct headshot with a 10-gauge shotgun loaded with double-aught buckshot. But you know, remember the very early Dawn of the Dead movie? Fortunately, most attackers are capable of feeling pain to some extent. Would you not agree? But can a compact CO2 revolver shoot these arrows accurately with enough power? Well, they are not guided in the front, so are they accurate at all? So that's what I tested. And here is a short clip that I recorded. A lot of people have expressed concern that when you shoot these darts from a short barrel pistol, like a revolver that I want to develop, that it would not be accurate anymore and it wouldn't have enough power. Well, I dug out my old Daisy Critter Gitter, used to be like a shotgun CO2 pistol. The barrel actually is just as long as one of these darts, so it almost pokes out, it's maybe half an inch left of the barrel. So it is short barreled and it is CO2 powered, and we will fire 10 of these darts, and then we will have an idea about how accurate it is. Distance is about 5 meters, which is more than average for a home defense situation. my shots. So the spread is really small, as you can see. If that would have been a person's upper torso, all of them would have hit. And they of course all pierced the 10mm plywood, birch plywood. And this shows you that it is possible with a CO2 pistol and a normal barrel length at 7.5 rule to achieve deadly performance. So yes, even as a revolver, you have this incredible power. And what happens now? Well, in a few weeks, I'll be holding the first prototype of the Needler, as the revolver is to be called, in my hands. And I will be making a video about it. So you can look forward to that. With this in mind, I hope you enjoyed this little blah blah episode. Thank you and bye bye.